So my wife and I have been intermittently watching random Bond movies here and there, but along with my sister, we've been watching the Daniel Craig Bond films in order. And rewatching some of the old ones, I've realised that a couple of them that I held in high regard, i.e., GoldenEye, aren't as good as I remember. However, Casino Royale, just as good as I remember. Mwah. Quantum of Solace, which isn't as good as Casino Royale. So at the time of when I first watched it, I thought it was down here. I really liked it the second time around. It's a tight movie, nice and short. It progresses the story in an interesting way. And then Skyfall. Skyfall is a movie directed by Sam Mendes, yep, from 1917. Well, he'd do that in a few more years, but this is one he did beforehand. It's written by a couple of people who've been doing Bond movies for a while, Neil Purvis and Robert Wade. They're joined by a guy named John Logan. Of course, we've got Daniel Craig, Judi Dench, Javier Bardem, Ray Fiennes, Naomi Harris, Albert Finney, and others. So many people to mention. So I'm probably not going to mention all of them because I want to actually review the fucking movie. What is it about? Well, there's this Bond baddie played by Javier Bardem who's targeting M, played by Judi Dench, and targeting her, wanting some revenge on her and stuff like that for past sins or whatever have you. And fuck, this movie's long. I'm going to say that right off the bat. Now, I don't let the Bond songs affect my ratings because that's stupid. It's just an opening credit sequence. It shouldn't affect what you think of the movie. However, I was shocked to find that Skyfall, performed by Adele, won a fucking Oscar, because here's what I think of Adele. Adele to me sounds like Amy Winehouse, just without any of the cool songs. And this is another example. So, not a fan of this Bond theme, but that won't affect my overall rating of the film. The themes really ever do. Just before I actually talk about the movie proper, Casino Royale 2005, yep. Quantum of Solace 2008. So you had a 3-year wait to see the continuation of the story, which was all about who's Spectre, who's behind them, what are they doing, what are they up to, all this kind of stuff. So you get to 2012, that's another 4 years gap, and you think, all right, sweet, now, here we go, the continuation, and Spectre's not even mentioned. So was Bond not investigating him in that 4 years? Like, what's going on with this whole Spectre situation? No, this is pretty much a standalone Bond story. So if you just wanted to show people one Daniel Craig movie, I guess you could start with Skyfall. Unfortunately, you'd be doing yourself a disservice because Casino Royale is a superior film in almost every single way. Now, I can understand why you would introduce someone to this. This doesn't set up any storylines. It does set up some characters and things, but it doesn't really set up any storylines involving what's gone before. Maybe Quantum of Solace didn't do as well as Casino, so they decided to do an old-fashioned stand-alone Bond flick. And, well, that's a shame, because they wouldn't bother picking up any of the threads until 2015's Spectre. So that's fucking years. My math bad. For a continuation of a storyline that I find thoroughly engaging and interesting. I've got problems with this movie. The action set pieces and most of the character work are absolutely fantastic, and I love them. Cinematography, all this kind of stuff, great. But fucking hell, here's something I don't complain about with Bond movies that much. This is slow. There are periods of this movie where, oh fuck, I fucking hate to say it, I got bored. And that's not good. It colors the way I think about the whole film. because there are some amazing things that happen in this flick, but I got bored, and that's not good. In my opinion, if your film is boring or partly boring, you've partly failed. Some of the pacing is way off here, and I felt that was a mistake because you've come off the shortest Bond movie ever to make, at the time, the longest Bond movie ever, and the movie doesn't benefit from the extra time. How much time extra? This one's like an hour longer than the previous movie. The other one was like an hour and 45 minutes. This is 2 hours and 45 minutes, and I don't think this movie does enough to justify that runtime. I'm sorry. Another thing that it wasn't anywhere near as interesting this time around than the first time around is Javier Bardem's Raul Silva is a very uninteresting Bond with motivations that are just like, pretty standard and cliche. It's pretty much a remix on Sean Bean's 007 in GoldenEye. It's done very differently, but it's that kind of character, and not really done well. He's not intimidating. He's not scary, even though they try to make him both things. They try to make him seem like this criminal mastermind, but I don't know, man. I planned for this. I planned for this. You planned for all these weird little details and curveballs? Get out of here! So, is the character well acted? Of course, Javier Bardem's a very good actor. I just thought his character was not all that interesting. And coupled with me being bored at some points, I didn't find that... This is a movie where you like all the good guys and you find them interesting and you want to see what happens to them. But all the bad guys? Who cares? The movie does have some really good things though. This movie actually lets give M something to do. She's in this movie a lot. If you like Judi Dench's M, you're going to get a lot of her. This is going to have some spoilers in this review though, because I've got to mention something that happens to her because it relates to a story in my life, and I'll get to that soon. But it gives her a lot to do. Naomi Harris plays a character who you don't find out her name till the end, and I really liked her introduction into the franchise, or reintroduction, and how that was handled. Absolutely fantastic. I really liked Ralph Fiennes as Mallory. He was a fine addition to the movie, and I'm glad he's in the situation he's in at the end of this film. And of course, I really like Daniel Craig as Bond. He's a bit more of a hound in this movie than in the previous two put together, actually, but he's still very much Daniel Craig's Bond. They've made him a little bit more vulnerable too, because he gets injured and stuff, and he has to work through these injuries in order to become, whoop-ass Bond again. So they do interesting things with the regulars. Unfortunately, none of that means jack squat in terms of the overarching story that's happening. I mean, I probably would have preferred them to make Spectre first, then Skyfall, but no, that's not the way they went. Oh well. In fact, at times this feels very much like a 24 plot. And don't get me wrong, I like 24. It's a totally insane, ridiculous show. But that show's never slow. It can't be slow, because it's all in real time. This feels like it has 24-esque elements and really slow, dragged out scenes. So, I don't know, man. There's some stuff to like. As I said, the good characters, the ones that you want to see do well in this movie, and the performances are great. So there's some really cool looking scenes, like this one in Shanghai where Bond's after this sniper assassin dude. That looks absolutely gorgeous. It's not what I wanted. It just sucks too, man, because I remembered this being great. I saw this with my mum, and here's where the spoilers, major spoiler kicks in. I saw this with my mum, and we're getting coffee before the movie starts, and she turns around, she says to me, "Oh," this is my mum impression, by the way, "Oh, I heard Judi Dench dies in this one." 5 minutes from going in to see the movie, "I no, Judi Dench dies in this one. So ever since then, if I find out a spoiler for something, I'm like, oh my god, you Skyfalled it for me. So if anything, I still have that excellent memory and that fun time watching this movie with my mum. Unfortunately, I don't think this movie holds up as good as Casino or Quantum of Solace, for all the reasons I have mentioned. So, people are going to disagree with me here, but that's alright, that's fine. Give me a like, dislike, share, and subscribe, all that shit. And let's stick the thing on the thing. Oh man, you're about as good as fucking GoldenEye. I can't believe it. Yeah, you can go over here. Yeah, well, I'm really boring.